FIFINE has been dipping their toes into different audio spaces for some time now. Let's see what they can do with the wireless audio space, shall we? Let's do it. Because some of you didn't realize that I was actually bald, and some people like to think that I don't like my bald head, I'm gonna record this entire video bald. Yeah, you're gonna have to see this beautiful masterpiece. By the way, I just wear a hat when I don't have time to shave. That's pretty often. One of the biggest struggles when it comes to recording any kind of YouTube video is being able to walk around the room and have your audio sound pretty decent while you're showing things off or doing a vlog style type of content. Because I can't really do an unboxing when I'm sitting behind a desk and have a giant boom arm in my way. It just doesn't really work that well. And wired lavaliers aren't bad for some shots, but I'm constantly getting tangled up every time I try to take a step because it's super long and it just drags along the floor. And if I'm ever having to get up to check my footage, well, there's a risk of me falling or knocking something over there too. And while the concept of wireless microphones isn't anything new, this is the first one by a microphone company that usually knows what they're doing with this kind of budget style microphone. This is the FIFINE M9. In the box, we receive a charging case, the receiver, and 2 microphones, which at this price point is very respectable. 2 wind muffs, 1 for each mic, and a cable for your phone or your camera. And this lavalier set advertises 5 to 6 hours of battery life, 100 feet of range, an active noise cancellation button, which is on the side right here, which we'll get into that a little bit later, because these do usually suck. But instead of using it in a quiet room, we'll actually go out in a loud environment to see if it does anything useful. The included charging case is a 1200 milliamp battery, which where in this thing, considering that they actually go in here, where are they hiding it? Where are they hiding that? So it can charge your microphones up to twice, so that'd be about 15 to 18 hours of total battery life. And let's not talk about standby time, because I have barely yet to charge these things and they've just been sitting around my office outside of the case all day. Now the biggest selling point FIFINE likes to talk about these is just how simple they are. No additional output and input volumes for each microphone, just the one that's included on this receiver here for each microphone. It's just the one button versus many that have one on the microphone itself. On the receiver itself, they need to worry about your PC as well, or your device it's capturing audio from. No difficult menu, no frequency to tune. It's all just set up how it needs to be, right? Just plug and play. You just turn it on, pair it if you really need to, and worry about making it stereo or mono audio, which most of the time you're gonna stick to stereo. So you need to make sure whatever you're plugging it into does have the right configuration and sound profile so that it doesn't sound peaky or too much when you're running it. So for an $82 price tag, this seems like a dream come true, right? Done and done. Pick up a simple microphone, plug it in, let's go. But can it live up to the FIFINE name? Because not every product they've made has been perfect. And I've reviewed a lot of wireless lavaliers around this price point, and none of them really sound that good compared to something like Rode, which is way more expensive, but you'd think someone could get close, right? And most of these let me down, whether it's the lack of ability to cancel out sound so everything just sounds like a hiss in the background, or subpar sound quality, or bad connection. I'm hoping FIFINE doesn't let me down, but I'll be comparing this to a wired lavalier from Boya. Boya is one of the best budget microphones, wired, that you can actually get right now on Amazon. It's only about $15 and it does a very decent job for the price, but it's not the best either. So we're gonna see how these sound together. And I apologize I don't have a Rode microphone to compare it to. You know what might help me do that next time is by liking and subscribing to the channel. Come on, let's pick up the pace here. All right, so now we're using a camera, and I can say that I like the smallest setting the best. It gives it the best kind of breathing room. You can talk loud without having to be worried about it peaking, and it also has the lowest room noise as well. So it does sound the best out of the options that you have here. The medium is a good case for if you're somewhere a little more quieter, and the loudest part is when you're whispering into the mic for ASMR videos or stuff in public that you are whispering. I don't want to, maybe we shouldn't talk about that. So I'm impressed so far with the sound quality of this, but of course I'm going to listen to it back, compare it to my wired lavalier, and just see how things can compare them. All right, so now we're using the Boya, which does not have any controls for the input volume. It does use the device's camera or phone in this case and kind of just set the level there. But again, you're using this giant cord that you're trying to avoid in the first place with using a wireless microphone. So you can't walk around with your camera, you're not gonna be able to bring it anywhere or do any cool video where you're moving site to site. So that's not really gonna be an option for you. So this is more of a, I'm sitting down talking to the camera through a lavalier all the time and don't ever plan on standing up. Okay, so this is the lavalier microphone on an iPhone. I'm using the medium setting here so we can adjust through all 3, but this is gonna be your main way of outputting. If the lighting is a little weird, I apologize. I'm using an iPhone. It's very difficult to get that just right for me, especially when I'm recording myself. That's why I use a camera. But the best thing about this kind of setup, again, is that you can, if you really need to, pick up the camera and move around the room. You don't have to rely on a giant cable tying you down. You can move around, you can talk, you can interact with things. That's the point of this. Travel, interact, move around. And from what I've seen so far of this microphone, the quality is really on par with a wired one. And not a budget wired one, more like a decently priced wired one. But let's continue on with our test here. So here we are with a wired microphone on the iPhone. But how's it sound? How is the noise cancellation? Is it low? Is it high? I think this microphone, in my opinion, is a little more low end, and it's missing that treble and clarity that I'd wish to get in other microphones. But in comparison, you know, $82 wireless microphone and a $15 wired lavalier mic, you know, how does it sound? So I decided that what other way better to test this microphone than to be in a live environment. So this is it without any noise cancellation on. We're gonna be driving on the road with some AC going, no noise cancellation on. Now we're gonna turn that on and see how that sounds. All right, so this is what it sounds like in the car with the noise cancellation on, just to kind of test things out here. I'm not gonna be looking at my phone because I am driving, so I'm gonna be safe here. But if noise cancellation's on, this is what it sounds like with the fan going. We're driving down the road, there's bumps, there's all sorts of noises. I wanted to give my viewers at least one more test with this, so we're going to record the rest of this video using the microphone. I like what FIFINE did here. They took an $80 microphone, they gave it a nice, simple design, and they made it really accessible to a lot of people, based on the price and based on the performance and based on the simplicity of it, so any basic user can use it. And FIFINE has a really good experience with different microphones, so they've done a good job of making sure it's a good sounding mic for the price. It has a very decent range of sounds. The only thing I'm really disappointed about it is there's no port to put in my own lavalier microphone if I wanted to hook up this to the receiver. And there's a lot of echo involved. One of the biggest things I always get with lavalier mics is the echo. It's like your room has to be perfect just to have any echo negated. And really, lavalier mics should be made to avoid that altogether. You know, this actual wired one I have does a really good job of not sounding echoey, and it has a lot more low end. This one has a lot more high end and a lot more echo involved. So I feel like if they had a port to plug in my own mic, I really enjoy that. And if they also just did a little bit better with making sure that the low end was included and the echo was canceled out, if they can handle that. The other feedback I have is the active noise cancellation. FIFINE's done a really good job of canceling out noise in the microphones. In fact, I recommend them all for noisy environments or any kind of hissing of the background. You won't hear it literally in your recordings when you're using their mics. However, every time they've added an active noise cancellation button to any of the microphones, it kind of sounds like garbage. It's something they've always done, and I feel like that they need this feedback. I don't think noise cancellation is a feature a microphone should have, period. And here's why. Your room and your environment should be set up to record the way you want to. And if you're gonna have a hiss or any kind of noise in the background, use tools and EQ to remove that. Noise cancellation is gonna ruin the sound of your voice, ruin the sound of your recording, and it's a much better idea just to work it in the EQ and make it as minimal as possible. 9 times out of 10, the user's not gonna hear it coming out of their speakers because it doesn't project that frequency, or it just isn't audible when you have a phone speaker. But you don't need the active cancellation because it'll ruin the overall quality of your recording. So I don't think it's something they should be including. It should just swap that out with an aux port. So for an $80 price point, this is definitely a pickup if you need a lavalier microphone that is simple and just works with all your equipment. You don't need to spend a lot of time thinking about how it's going to hook up all the frequencies. It's just a plug and play device. You're ready to go. And the mic quality is good enough to pass for most YouTube videos. But again, I think they could improve it just a little hair more to make the sound even better. Thanks for watching Look at Strike Tech. Thanks for coming to my videos all the time. I'm honestly so grateful that I have all these subscribers. I have all these people commenting, liking, and subscribing my videos. Please keep it up and please keep watching. I'll see you guys next time.